It's about 12:30 right now. I am doing this on trackpad, so shit might be a little bit slow, but we're going to see how this works. Okay. Everyone can see my screen. No, bro, all my stuff's coming later. It's like gonna be delivered today, but I didn't want to delay the webinar. Alright. So we're going to start with prefetch. I have this up right here, just the Red Lotus guide. I think it explains it perfectly. So we're gonna kind of I'll go through it step by step. I'll ask if there's questions. I'll demonstrate, and then we can move on. So prefetch is a Windows feature. It's mainly created in Windows 7 as a thing to help applications start up faster because it would save their startup information. So it was originally called Superfetch. Prefetch is only generated when an exe is. So if you launch a Java-based or like a Node.js or like any other environment, it will instead generate like java.exe, dllhost.exe, or rundll32exe, logs every exe on the system. So prefetch is evidence of execution, and you get that evidence from its date modified time. Every prefetch file is unique based off of where the file was ran from, and that's what we call the hash number. So I'm going to open my prefetch, show you guys. Wait, is my volume? Okay, I'm good. Okay. I'll clear. It might be that it's a laptop mic, so it's not that good, but all my stuff's coming like today. Okay, so as I mentioned, there are hashes. Each hash on a prefetch file is unique to that prefetch file. So all of these have hashes. So this one's like F1D665A4. This one's going to be different. That is how the files are organized. These hashes correspond to the path that it was ran from. So let's see if I can find I don't have any, like this is a brand new laptop. I don't got any EXEs, but I'll try running this. All right, so this is that. So what I should do, this, maybe that's not EXE, but every time you run EXE, a new prefetch file is going to load. So you can tell by the date modified. Date modified is the most recent time that a file was ran. So, oh yeah, so it did run. I just didn't sort it. So if you look here, I ran Lenovo Vantage. That's what this is called. So it showed up right here at 12:31 p.m. Date modified on October 1st. So that is when that was ran. And you can see all of these applications were ran. So like Discord webhook helper, the registry was ran. So that's in essence what prefetch is it is just an evidence of execution. To access prefetch, I did that quick. You press Windows key and then your R key, and it will open this run box. You type fetch, and it will open up. It might ask you if it's your first time to allow for admin permissions. Just allow it, and it will open. On some devices, the permissions of the folder can be messed up. You might have to mess with them a little bit to access it, but I'm not going to go over that. It's pretty simple. You can watch a YouTube video, figure it out. One way users attempt to bypass prefetch is through the attributes of the file. So there are really two main attributes that are important. So when you write a file and you have properties, there's these attributes: read only and hidden. Hidden obviously hides it, but read only makes it so that no data and no updates can be written to the meaning, because each prefetch file is going to be unique to where that application is ran from that application. If I were to make a file, so I'm going to go to properties, and I'm going to click read only. I'm going to click apply. I'll press OK. I'm going to close this. I'm going to launch this again. Keep note of the time, 12:33. Okay. I'm going to re-access my prefetch by pressing Windows key R, typing PREFETCH. Enter. Back. This file information did not update. I ran it at 12:33, but the file information did not update. So that's the read only. That's what that does. In order to detect, there's about 3 ways you can do it. The first thing you might want to do, you can just open your command prompt as administrator. All you're going to do is you can type dir/a:/o:"d", and then the directory of prefetch. If it says file not found, that means there are no files containing this attribute. If you want to get the attribute, if it's read only, so that was for hidden. Sorry, I should specify this. So this right here, this right here, this /a is for attribute. This colon, finding the attribute as hidden. So if we want to find read only, someone tell me how we find read only using that logic. Yes, there will be questions after this. No, nope, because A is defining attribute. A equals attribute. A is constant. Yes, you would change H with R for read only. Yes. So file not found because I just took it off. Let's here, let me do this again. So if I go to properties, I go read only, I go apply. Okay. It's going to tell you this prefetch file right here is read only. If you see a prefetch file is read only, you just ban them. You don't even bother with it. Just ban them immediately. Okay. Now, I'm going to go questions, and I'm going to go more in depth on this for our more advanced people. So questions. Just type them in. I don't care if it's dumb, because this is basics. And I assume a lot of you know. Is the 3, are you referring to the ranked Bed Wars rule where there needs to be 3 evidences of execution? I recommend it because it's harder to appeal a ban if there's 3 pieces of evidence, but you're not always going to have 3 pieces, but I just recommend you do it. It's not, you don't need 3 pieces, but you don't want to just constantly, because you give shit evidence. So the 3 pieces of evidence is so y'all don't false spam people, and it makes my life easier. Do self-destruct comment automatically. A client can make its prefetch file read only. That's a possibility. Normally people do it manually. Another thing you might see is a client will make itself read only. It'll launch and then it will turn off read only. It's a really dumb method, but we're gonna go on how to catch it in an easier way. Next question. About the topic that I literally just covered. Let's see. Okay. Questions? What is prefetch duping? What do you mean by prefetch? Like, are you talking about like that echo flag of prefetch duping? I might know what it is. A different word. Question says prefetch. I do not know any. I don't know anything about Oceans. I will say Ocean is a good tool to false flag a lot of stuff, and the flags are very complicated to read. I don't know what it's checking, and I might if I knew what the detection was checking, I would be able, never ban off a scan. All right, let's say Saxon is .exe, it reads 1,000 and 200. Saxon, you can answer that question yourself because that's you. That's like some Windows internal shit. Okay, anyway. All right, moving on. We're going to address a very so when I press Windows key R and I open the prefetch, this does not give me a lot of information. It tells me stuff, but it sucks. It's good. It's confusing. So we're going to download a program called WinPrefetchView. So WinPrefetchView. All right. Only download it from this website, and I encourage everyone to follow along. I encourage everyone to follow along. So I'm going to put that link. Only download it from that link. There's other websites that have it, but I don't trust them. I don't know what they are. So run. Okay. You're going to run this. It's going to ask for admin permissions, and it's going to open. It's going to take a second to load. Full screen it. Now I'm going to move this menu a little bit down so I have more angle. Oh, shoot. All right. The rendering on mine is kind of fucked up. But we're going to change the modified time so that's sorted up. So everything at the top ran, everything at the bottom has been ran previously. Hopefully that makes sense. Are there any questions so far about how I got to what screen I'm at, what I'm doing? No? All right. So we're going to go back to the same file. This was the one we were looking at earlier, the Lenovo Commercial Vantage. We can see the modified time, but we can also see times has this been ran. Prefetch will log the last 7 run times with a time. So if we go to last runtime here, these are the times of the last 7 times it ran. If we go over to Firefox, Firefox has been ran 117 times. There will only be the 7 most recent timestamps. There will not be 117 timestamps. This is very important to know because if you accidentally open a player's cheat without proving execution, you can use this timestamp to prove it was previously executed. So that is very important. Does that make sense? That is very important. I want everyone to say yes or no if it makes sense, and no, why? Why does it not make sense to you? Okay. Now that we understand the basics of prefetch, like the very, very basics, we're going to move on to using WinPrefetchView to its full potential. So you're going to press Control F. It's going to open up a find menu. We're going to start with consent. Okay. I'm going to move to the guide so I can explain. Okay. So we can use WinPrefetchView by Nursoft to analyze executions by conhost and consent. These are just Windows exes that are like supporting of the functions of Windows, basically. The consent is when you open an application and it asks you, do you want to run with admin permissions? You just press yes. That is consent. That is consent.exe. That's all it is. So whenever you run a program with admin, it utilizes that exe. So knowing this information, we're going to go here. And this bottom panel right here is going to show you all of the exes ran. So there's going to be a lot of DLLs. There's going to be a lot of dependencies. When we're working with consent, we're not worried about DLLs. We're only worried about weird looking files. I don't put too much time into looking here. It is not a foolproof method on how to catch cheats. You can bypass it, but it's whatever. So you can see command.exe, Explorer. Keep just scrolling down. Task scheduler. So this is one of those cases C is not going to be shown, but rather a .msc. So Cascade C was ran. You just keep scrolling down. Okay. Does that make sense? Well, because consent DLLs, you're not going to find much relevant things. You're better off searching for EXEs and consent rather than DLLs or files that are like not. But it's just better to search for EXEs because we're going to search for a more DLL specific process in a second. Player runs a cheat 7 times to block the runtime before that. Says, does that count as if they run a cheat after, or if they run a cheat in their boot instance? So boot instance refers to the second they turned on their PC. You SS them. That is the boot instance. I'm not going over UEFI cheats, but the boot instance is from the second the PC turns on to the second is you connect to screen share. Because if you are concerned, like Saxony said, if you are concerned with the game, and players can be dumb and they can like run a cheat an hour before Minecraft was ran, and then run Minecraft, and then they can still cheat, and it's dumb. So boot instance. Okay, consent. All right, we're gonna move to our next process. Con host. This con stands for console host. I don't think I need to explain what a console host does. It hosts the console. Someone tell me how I'm going to analyze this, because I know my mic is just not that good. I can't my mic soon. Execution on boot is all that matters. I don't care if they ran their cheat 1 second after they opened it, then they closed it. Like, if you ran a cheat in your boot instance. Okay, yeah. Let's move to what. Okay. Make this a little bit bigger. Okay. So, we have con host right here. Tell me how we're going to analyze this. I just showed you how to analyze it. Process. It's the same thing. Just tell me how. I don't know how to screen share. Short-term amnesia. Let's go. Someone tell me. I know there's 3 people in here who can tell me. All right. Thank you. Look for the files initially with the file you're analyzing. Yes. So, same thing. I'm going to click here. It's going to adjust this bottom panel. By the way, every time you click, see it adjust the bottom panel to the specific prefetch file we're looking at. So, console host.exe, we're going to look and see this exe was ran, exe was ran, this exe was ran, this exe was ran, this exe was ran, this exe was ran. All right. So we have all these exes that were ran. But how do we know which one's suspicious? So we're going to go through a checklist, and I want you to remember this checklist because I'm going to ask you what I just said in like, because it's important. Can we sort the bottom exes? No, not really. Actually, maybe. I think you can sort it by file name, but you're better off just scrolling through because they're sorted by index. So everything's kind of sorted by like the order it's ran. So it's just better just not to touch it. So if I don't want to spend you don't want to spend too much time like hunting for a cheat in here, because this is like really this is just to catch the players that like haven't renamed their cheats from like vape.exe. You're like, they don't really have a bypass. They just rename their cheat or something. So anyway, look at the paths. So the first thing, look at the path. So if the path of the cheat is in a suspicious path is a user path. I know people can put cheats in other paths, but this is prefetch is a good indicator, but using prefetch to find a cheat is dumb. So you have system 32, the user path, so past it. You have GPU encoder, and this is program data. This isn't really a user path. I know it says user. It's just because my username on this is just user, so ignore it. This is system 32. It's not a user path. Yes, you should prefetch. Prefetch is good to find cheats. What I mean, so what I'm saying, I probably should say this clearer. If I click through all of these and I open every single one of these hoping to find the cheat, you are wasting your time. What you should do is you should use the information you collect from these preliminary checks to narrow down what you are in the future. I probably should have explained that better, so I'm sorry. But click aimlessly and you just open random shit in prefetch with no direction, you're going to get anywhere. Use the information to help you. Can a bypass be 100% untraceable? Very few can be 100% untraceable. And even if it's 100% untraceable, it is just 100% untraceable to our knowledge, because it is fucking spyware, basically. So everything you do is logged in one way or another, and you cannot turn everything off. Okay, moving on. So the next thing you want to look for is the icons. Cheats have icons 99% of the time. There are exceptions. Most Minecraft cheats, I'm speaking from Minecraft cheats, I don't know about 5M. Most Minecraft cheats are not going to have icons. So if you see this little like blue box, I'll take a screenshot of it so everyone understands. So this little thing right here. Oh. This thing right here, if that icon means there's no icon, does that make sense? So if there's no icon, that can indicate there is a cheat, or that file is a cheat. So next thing we want to do is look at the path. So this is in system 32, and this is a legitimate Windows file. I know I've not ran any cheats. It's legitimate. When ping.exe is when you open command and you just ping a server. I think that's it. This is a legitimate Windows file. It's important that as you screen share, you start getting yourself familiar with what legitimate Windows files are, so you're not wasting your time. When I started screen sharing, I would literally think every single one of these files was a cheat, and they're not, because they're just legitimate Windows files. It's kind of like game sense in a game. You'll just start understanding what's legitimate and okay. We're gonna go over some just extra information really quick. So this volume right here, which you can find under device path, refers to the disks. So CDE, so on. The modified time, as we covered right here, refers to the last write time. In other words, the last time the program was ran. Okay. Okay, that's for EXEs. Does everyone understand how to use consent and conhost to find EXEs? Perfect. Now, I'm about to undergo short-term amnesia. I need you guys to help me because I forgot how to find DLLs, but I know the same way as EXEs, but just tell me. I want you guys to help. I have short-term amnesia. Acoustic void, your PFP is like actually how I imagine you. Okay. So we're gonna follow the same steps that we did for EXEs, just in context to a DLL, or in other words, with respect to a DLL. So run DLL 32 is a Windows process which can be used to run DLLs. Very complicated, I know. So all of these DLLs right here are DLLs that were ran. I mean, it's we're gonna apply the same logic. This icon, no DLLs have icons really in the first place, so don't worry about the icons. But if it does, I wouldn't pay too much attention. I would look at the path. System 32, System 32, System 32, System 32. You know, just look, quick scan with your eyes. There's nothing there. Just move on. Don't waste your time. Okay, we're going to scroll back up. It's important. Control F. That's run DLL 32. Everyone knows how to get to run DLL 32, right? I don't gotta explain. You just spelt it. You literally just spelled it. You just. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But you just that. It's literally just that. It's literally just. Okay. Now. I want to get to this prefetch file. So someone tell me, how do I get there? I need to analyze it, but I don't know how to get there. Okay, yes. All right. And then I'm going to find it. Good job. Okay. Because this is literally a brand new laptop. This shit is like 2 days old. There are no reg server 32 injections. I will go to the guide to reference. Okay. So, paying attention to directories becomes important with run DLL and reg server 32 injections. You will analyze them the same way. Reg server 32 is actually more suspicious than run DLL 32. No, I don't care. Shut up, acoustic void. Okay. Run DLL 32 is analyzed the same way reg server 32. I'm probably saying that so improperly, but that's fine. The reason being is run DLL naturally occurs more than this process right here does. So you will find less DLLs in here, which means you should check all of them because there will be less and they will be less frequent. Because some people will never ever have this prefetch file because they just fucking play Minecraft and watch porn and play Roblox. I don't know. They will never have this. So it's important to analyze the file path because there will be no icon. I just covered that. Look, this path right here, null DLL 64. It's a DLL auto clicker for Minecraft. If you look at the path, it's in a user path. It's suspicious, and it has a suspicious name because it's the name of a cheat. The injections are never issued by the system itself, and they almost never load things from the user directory, which is why we check if it's been loaded in the user directory. So that's important. Run DLL 32 is utilized by some programs. So when I refer to the system, I mean the operating system, not programs. So if I run like VS Code, it use run DLL 32 to run DLLs for its dependencies. You know, if I use a program, it's different than the system. And almost never will you see a program run something from the user. So that's why. Okay. I'm going to mute this chat. I'm going to lock this chat. How do I do this? Okay. Okay, then stop fucking typing. There's questions. Okay, are there any questions about what I just covered in Win Prefetch View? How do we know cheat names? Okay, how do we know cheat names? Is there a page somewhere? I mean, I assume if you had a screen, you were familiar with the community you're screen sharing for. For example, my main is like Minecraft, 1.8. So I look for things like vape, drip, karma, dream. Like I just kind of memorize. It's like, yeah, it's just general knowledge. That's really it. It's like game sense in a game. Like you're just gonna like figure it out. I mean, yeah, some people get stupid. I wouldn't rely on the names. No, yeah. Like people just name their shit dumb shit. So like, I don't know what to. Okay, what's hard to screen share? 5M or Minecraft? I think the bypasses in FiveM are more advanced because more money gets towards them. However, on the flip side, their bypasses are easier to catch once you find them because you do not have to prove execution in FiveM. So in Minecraft, you have to prove execution. So it makes a simple bypass harder to find, but in FiveM, a hard bypass is easier to find, or it's a bit easier to prove. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, FiveM is more about like knowledge. Yeah, I don't screen share as much as I'd like to in FiveM, but I like that community scares me. But yeah, they're like some weirdos. You got people who shit, and it's annoying. Oh, my screen is bugging out. Hold on, guys. Let me restart my Discord really quick. Sorry, guys. My Discord started bugging out a little bit. Let me my screen. All right. Okay. Yeah. FiveM just has more money towards it, so the bypasses are harder to find. Minecraft bypasses are harder to prove. Prove and find are different things. Finding is easy in Minecraft. Proving is hard. Finding is hard in FiveM. Proving is easy because you don't have to prove. That should be an easy analogy. Okay, are there actual questions on prefetch? I'm about to go a quick overview over it, and then we're going to move on. So are there any questions? Okay, no question. Perfect. So I'm going to pretend like I'm screen sharing. So I'm just going to go how I would go through this. So I get on. Here. Do people not just delete prefetch? Like, no joke. How can you detect it? I'll review that in a second. I'll show that in a second. People don't really delete it because it's really to detect. But watch. I'm just gonna go like I'm doing like a screen. I'm starting with prefetch. So I open it. I'm gonna sort the modified time. Okay, consents at the top. So I'm just gonna click it. I'm gonna scroll through. Command.exe was ran. That's like something I'll be think about. Explorer. Keep going through it. Okay, I see MMC. This gives me an indication to what the user could have done. So can to task scheduler, it can hint to like if I open up the Microsoft Management Console, you can like do like task scheduler shit through here. I don't exactly remember how, but you can open. It's sad when I just know like this is Riddle's alt. Like that's just Riddle's alt. I know because I've memorized his. Oh, that's your alt. I don't care, bro. I don't want your server. I knew it was someone's alt. That's why I banned it. Okay. See task scheduler. What did I say? I saw MMC and I see task scheduler. Okay. Scroll down. Okay. Now I'll answer questions. Stop flooding the chat. Put questions in the chat. Damn. Okay. Con host. I go next. I see. I'm gonna extend this here. I see this exe was yeah. I understand. I'll answer questions after. I see these exes are ran. Nothing too suspicious. Everything here looks like a normal Windows file. It's important I go up so that I get the most recent run DLL32 file. Okay. I'm only gonna look at the paths here. So if there's anything weird, I'm just gonna stop there. See like. Okay, that's not even a DLL. Okay, I'm done. Okay. Now I'm gonna go reg server 32. Nothing. Okay, I move on. What I did. Can we utilize recal? I don't even know what the fuck that is. Is that some forensic tool? Recal forensic. Let's see. I don't even know what you're talking about. What do you like this? I don't know. I don't even know what you're saying. Okay. Hijack DLLs prefetch. Yeah, they will appear in prefetch because they're going to be ran under whatever way they were hijacked. That probably doesn't make any sense, but if you hijack the DLL of Spotify, or if you use Spotify to hijack DLL, then that DLL is going to show up on Spotify. That should make sense. What is a hijack DLL? That's a bit advanced. I wouldn't confuse yourself with it. This task schedule bypass scans, or should I just scan? Don't worry about it. You should not rely on an SS tool to help you with a screen share because it is a tool, not an SS itself. So task scheduler does bypass a lot of scans because of its nature. Not so much as it used to, but it can if it's set up properly. Task scheduler is one of the first things you always check because even a lot of modern bypasses rely on task scheduler now, so it's a good way to check. When analyzing process Halloween, we can't use. Why are you asking about process Halloween in a prefetch webinar? Let's stick to prefetch and not process Halloween and not recall and stick like we're doing. No, we're just doing basic. We're just doing basics. We're not talking about process Halloween and DLL hijacking. Okay. There are cases where I'm gonna move on. There are cases where when prefetch view will break and it won't work. It rarely happens, so I'm not really gonna spend too much time. You can use Eric Zimmerman's tools to parse the prefetch, follow the same exact logic that I just went over. I believe this video is taken that. Okay. I'm gonna skip jump for a second. We're gonna come back to it. Okay. What we're gonna move on to is shell recent. So recent items is one of the most useful targets. Not only can they show virtual disk launches, .bat cheats, and so on, but it also shows recently visited directories. In order to access it, you will press Windows key and R. Then you will type shell : and then recent. It will then open up a folder. So these are all of the recent files. So you can see I downloaded this SS guide before the webinar. You can see I have my wallpapers and all that shit. You can see I accessed my desktop, I accessed my documents, I accessed my downloads. It's a pretty simple, that's why I covered. Does bypass nowadays block scans, and should I ban if a scan is blocked? Files in shell recent are instant ban. Okay. Files in shell recent are not an instant ban. So these are shortcut files. In other words, they are LNK files. So this PDF right here is PDF. It is a file which links to the PDF. Does that, I'm gonna have to pull out Paint for this. Okay. Recently accessed is not proof of execution. All right. This will be our PDF. I'm gonna do P. Okay, P. This is our original file right here. So when I open this file, it PDF, right? So now, what you are viewing here is not a PDF file. It is a shortcut file which links to the PDF. So we're going to call this S. So when I open S, it just calls from this file. Well, I'm not saying I'm just saying it's the same concept as an exe. Like if an exe shows up in here, it's the same. I'm just saying a PDF because that's like the first thing I saw here. See, it's just PDF. So, okay. So look. So, because this file is just a shortcut file, all it does is it holds the data which links to this file. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Okay. If I were to delete this file, so X, it's gone. When I click this shortcut file will still be present. So when I click on this shortcut file, it will try to find this file, but because it's gone, it's going to give me an error. So instead, it's going to give me an error. This is E for error. Okay, let's see that practically. I have this C++ folder, which I recently deleted. If I try to open it, it is going to give me an error saying the item CPP that this shortcut refers to has been changed or moved, so this shortcut will no longer work. So it's going to ask if I want to delete it. I'll just press no. Deletion item also, if they delete, modify any file before screen share, is it possible to clear recent items? Yeah, if you clear recent items, you're banned. You can delete it. It's just like any other file. If you turn off this service, it's a ban. Where would I sort of like log? Okay, so that would normally log in the USN journal, which I don't know. I was hoping to maybe get to that today, but I don't know if we will get to that today. But hopefully, definitely next webinar, we're going to get to the USN journal, understanding how files were deleted. Maybe in a quick amount of time, I'll cover Echo Journal, like really quick. But yeah, journal and that stuff is kind of deserves its own webinar rather than a small section of this one. That's shell recent. I'm going to show a quick trick and then we'll move on. Okay. Yo, someone stops recent files. You are telling getting banned. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Because Echo Journal is more digestible for bees and it has less flags to confuse people. And Journal Trace also sucks. Anyway, okay. Windows. So, when you are in your shell recent folder, you just click, this is your directory up here, click Windows, click PowerShell, click PS readline, click console history.txt. Easy. It's going to show every single PowerShell command that they ran in this text file. Why do you think Journal Trace sucks? I think Journal Trace sucks because it's outdated. The UI kind of sucks. It doesn't capture the entire journal. Yes, the recording will be public. It doesn't capture the entire journal compared to something like MFTE command by Eric Zimmerman or Velociraptor, where you can actually extract the entire journal. I just don't think I'd rather just use a more advanced tool like MFTE command. Journal Trace is okay though. I will try to host webinars at least one time a week, but I am in college and I do have a job and I do have a life. So if not, maybe I'll get someone else to, but we're going to try to do one time a week. Velociraptor is not invasive. It just depends on the modules that you do with it. We have a lot of digital forensic content. Yeah, other people will host webinars. Yeah, you can ask about it. We're going to go over System Informer, hopefully. Well, Tech, I know, wanted to host a few webinars. Any one of the HQ can. It's just up to them. I mean, I'm not going to force them to, since in Red Lotus is like teaching people and managing it mainly. And then I have the other HQ supporting me, like Saxony and like Caleb and all of them. So my main job is like teaching. So if anyone else is to teach, it would be out of their own goodwill. But I teach because that's my job. So anyway, that's console host readline. If this is modified, if this is deleted or whatever, I wouldn't even ban for it because this information is so irrelevant that it's not going to help you. But sometimes it's just nice to see and get a better understanding of user behavior. That's literally it. Any questions about that before I move on? Because I would just never ban someone if they had edited. Like if I just delete all this and then I save it and I go there, like, it's just easily modifiable, and I would never ban someone for modifying it, in my opinion. I would never do that. Yeah, I know that it's easy to bypass. You recommend using Echo Journal and not Journal Trace. I recommend using whatever tool is best for you. No, Sherlock never said Velociraptor is too invasive. A lot of our premium content has Velociraptor guides in it. They disable Console's history is bannable. In my opinion, no. Depends on your server rules. Would anyone try to bypass with PowerShell? Yes, PowerShell is a common tool in bypassing. They use it to launch cheats, run scripts, because it's new, like Windows kind of. As Velociraptor. Well, it depends on the modules you use, but I'm not going to talk any more about Velociraptor. Okay. We're going to go back to temp. Temp directory is the Windows temporary file directory. So it's located in the Windows, your user app data local temp. And it stores temporary actions files or applications loaded by Windows, such as browser, downloads, caches, images, executables. It literally stores whatever you can think of. So by pressing Windows key R and then %, TEMP, and then %, you will open up the temporary directory. Temporary directory confusing. So specific way you can navigate it. So you can look for things like JNative hook, RAR, $, scoped, ZZ in the search. So JNative hook stands for 7-clicker. Never used. I don't even use temp, but it's important to go over so you understand what this directory is about. RAR, $, gets the executions of an exe that is ran by from inside an archive, specifically from a RAR archive, and same with ZZ. So yeah, so ZZ, this right here is the same as RAR, but it just pertains to 7-zip rather than WinRAR. I don't have either installed, so I can't demonstrate, but it should be. It's very simple to understand. If it's ran from a WinRAR directory and you do this, it will show up. If it's ran from a 7-zip directory and you type this, it will show up. It's very simple. Do not spend more than 4 minutes on temp, please. I don't have WinRAR because this is a brand new laptop. This is like 2 days old. Like I have not even set up anything. I spent nobody checks temp really, but it's important to understand because I downloaded Firefox, WSL, VS Code, and called it quits. Yeah, basically. It's the ThinkPad P14 Gen 6. AMD specifically. So, yeah. Does it think? Yeah, it does think. It's actually one of the best I've ever used. I haven't used a lot, but it's better than my MacBook Pro from like 2019. But I don't think that's that hard to beat. Okay. That is shell recent, temp, and prefetch. I do have a question for you guys because it's going to cover what we are going to cover next, or it's going to pretend to cover next. So what we can cover is we can cover jump lists, which are an extension and an advanced application of shell recent, or I can overview some basic journal knowledge, and maybe we'll get some FAT32. I wouldn't buy an old ThinkPad because they're not like old ThinkPads are good if you want to use Linux, but if you want like an actual laptop, it's kind of hard. Make Journal its own webinar? Okay. Yeah, we can make Journal its own webinar. I just want to know what you guys want because I can do either. Yeah, but I mean, everyone here screen shares on Windows, so daily driving Linux probably in their best interest. I don't know. if you want to daily drive like Arch Linux or something, then go buy a ThinkPad T480 or something, or buy like a cheap IDEA pad. Like, I don't know. Lenovo laptops are all pretty good. Jump to do right now. Okay, perfect. So, jump lists are an extension or another application of another application of shortcut files. There's really only one way to view this effectively, which is through the Eric Zimmerman's tools. So I'm going to send you the link to this. For example, I use Linux with i3. Bro, if you use a Linux to bypass, like, whatever, like, you'll probably just get replay banned, to be honest. But I've never really seen someone successfully pull off Linux to bypass. Anyway, this is where you can. Bro, that background's old as hell. Anyway, that link right there is the only link you should ever download Eric Zimmerman's tools from. Very important that you download tools from the right link. Okay. So, give me a sec. You're going to find Jump List Explorer, download the latest version. It might ask to install like a Microsoft Visual thingy-mabob. And get this folder. I'm going to drag this folder to my desktop. So run all Eric Zimmerman tools as administrator because you're doing analysis. And sharing is, yes, yeah, I need to download this. Because you're doing live analysis, it's going to require that. Well, I've never, because the problem is Acoustic Void, using Linux, there's not many Linux cheats like that are actually like going to bypass an anti-cheat. And that's the biggest thing. Like, I've seen people try to do like Linux like bypassing, but you need your own cheat. And a lot of them don't want to make their own cheat, or their cheat isn't gonna like bypass an anti-cheat. So that's the issue I see commonly. Okay, so we're gonna install this .NET runtime for the desktop real quick. Where's Saxon? Yeah, he probably left. Okay, so after we install this, all we're gonna do is gonna go back to our Jump List Explorer, and we're gonna run this as administrator. It's gonna take a second to load. So I need to find a specific folder. I don't remember the exact path. So, let's do it like this. Let me just get the directory really quick. Because use search everything. Show recent and then explore path. I'm just gonna use Gemini. Wait, bro. Okay, whatever. Never mind. Normally, what I do is I do use search everything to access this. That's why it's a bit of an issue. Where was it again? Yes. Yeah, I never used jump lists like directly. So recent and then custom destinations. Show recent slash destinations. Yeah. Oh shit, that's true. Sorry, I'm used to being on like Linux right now. Show recent slash custom destination. Yeah, this doesn't. It might just be I don't have any low key. Bruh. Shell recent custom destinations. Okay, go into shell recent. I'm in shell recent. I don't think I have any. Hold on, let's see. Search guys. We'll just do it the better way. Right here, I don't want to do that. BS strings. I'm not going to go over BS strings today. Different time. Okay. If I type in destinations, it's going to be this path for me. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to right click, copy the full name to clipboard. Now, in my jump list explorer, I'm going to click load jump lists, and then I'm going to paste this directory here. And then I'm just going to grab the jump list from today. So sort by date modified, make my life easier. And I'll just grab all these ones. Okay, perfect. Jump lists. BS strings go into Timeline Explorer. Not really. Depends on what you're doing. So let me answer some questions. So a jump list is an extension of shell recent. It is a more detailed version of this. You get a lot of information, which I'm going to go over. So it's just so you can derive information from search everything by typing custom destinations or by typing automatic destinations. It's better that you just do both. If I want to find PowerShell bypass, it's go to Timeline Explorer. I don't know what you mean by that. PowerShell bypasses, like Timeline Explorer is just a tool to view outputs. That's all it is. You're not going to find anything without actually parsing information. If you no, he's saying PowerShell bypass. I don't even know. Here, let me go through jump lists and then I'll watch, guys. So you can see here our jump list types. App ID description tells you the file or like where's the sources. There's going to be the file size and there's going to be how many shortcuts are associated. So you can adjust these windows to your liking. Each LNK file has an index of LNK 00, 001, 002, 0. They all have this. Indexes don't unique. It gives you when it was created, when it was modified, the path. It tells you the arguments, which gives you insight to the behavior. So this tells me I made a new tab here. This tells me I opened a new browser window. See, let's see. I opened a new window in private browsing. See, I accessed the board. I accessed Google Gemini. I accessed my password manager. Gemini, Bitward. Yeah, okay. So that's all that. You're gonna have more. That's literally all it is. It's gonna overview behavior. See, personally, I would not go through someone's browser information. I'm gonna tell you what LNK is in a second. I would not go through someone's browser information as that is very invasive. Okay, y'all seem confused. Sorry. Y'all are very confused. I'm sorry. Listen, everyone stop typing in the chat. Just stop typing in the chat. An LNK file is a shortcut file. This isn't all of LNK files. So from shell recent, these are all LNK. Do you remember the paint demonstration I did? The paint demonstration, that shortcut file, the file that I labeled S is an LNK file. That's all it is. And there are different areas in which you can access LNK files, which is what we're overviewing right now. Yes, perfect. Yes, perfect. Yes. So the shortcut is just a link to the file. So because this is another way to look at shortcut files, but it becomes more relevant because you're getting more information on more relevant applications. So, for example, Microsoft Visual Studio Code. People can make their cheat file shortcut, cannot make their short file, people cannot make their cheat file a shortcut. Velociraptor 1.6 jump list, can it give us the same results? Yes, it can. Yeah, it probably can't know too much about that module. You see, Velociraptor has a public repository of what all of their forensics things do. So I can show you. Yeah, they have a documentation. You site here search. So jump list. There you go. You can answer your own question with this. Yeah, don't use Velociraptor. Oh, why don't I use JN? What is JN? I don't even know what you're saying. Okay. Hold on, my Discord fuck, my Discord tweaking again. Let me just reshare my screen. Okay, guys. Listen. We're gonna go back to what we were doing, and then we're gonna call it quits because it's been like an hour, 10 minutes. So, Jump List Explorer is useful because, as you can see, there are 3 suspicious applications: Microsoft Visual Studio, Windows Terminal, and Microsoft Word. All of these can be used to cheat. So by clicking here, I can inspect the behavior. So I'm going to click here, and I'm going to click here. So I can see I opened the new window path. I did something. I ran code. So you see this code.exe. This is what Microsoft Visual Studio Code uses to run code. And I ran code through this folder at this time. So that's very important to understand these 2 dates. So that's very important. If I go to the Windows terminal, it'll give me information. So there's not much here. The Windows terminal is kind of harder to get information from, so we're just going to go through it. Yeah, there's not much, but you can get a general idea. So see like that. Yeah, it's a bit more difficult. So if you go to Word, you can go here, and you can see I accessed like the certain like document in Word, which can be helpful if you're trying to find the word bypass. That's more advanced. But for those of you that understand it, it's those of you that understand it. Now going to conclude here, but I'm gonna stick around for 5 minutes to answer questions. Please don't flood the chat. Here, I'll answer some questions about the course. Here, let me just scroll up. So I'll start with the course. So the Red Lotus course is comprehensive teaching. We have 3 tiers technically. We have the regular course, which covers like everything like screen sharing related. We have our digital forensics course, which covers like really advanced screen sharing and digital forensics material. And then we also have personal coaching. So I will personally coach people. Some of them are in here. Some of them are out doing fuck all. The prices go from 60 to 85 to 150 in that order. So we have our services packet. We have all this. So if you go to purchases right here. Okay, so that right there. contains all course information. So that's that. My question about the series, I know that where you guys interested maybe doing more courses of real cybersecurity problem, SQL engine for any web part. Knowledgeable in that type of forensics. Will be in the future, but my specialty is Windows forensics right now, so I cannot do that. Maybe Saxony if you wanted to. That's not my specialty. Can I make out of Yeah, just ask any questions. Give me more fun. Fileless auto clickers. Files. Well, all fileless things are going to be ran through PowerShell. So you can use Hayabusa event logs. You can use EVTX. You can use Sigma event rules through like Chainsaw. I'd learn a lot. I'd try to learn a lot about event logs and the behavior of PowerShell. I'd take a look into law bins and other stuff like that. How do I bypass? How do I ban you? Wait, so inject helper? Yeah. If you don't like your assessor role, then it is a cheat. How do I bypass? How do I detect fileless bypass? I'm 5'9". How to detect fileless bypass? How long are you going to be banned for? It's a great question. How does having bought the course get a role in this Discord? Yes, if you buy a course, you will get a role in this Discord. You will get a role in this Discord, and you will get a role in the main Discord. Yeah. How much? I checked the kernel philosopher. Memory dumps are not very reliable bypasses because memory is volatile. I would do event fileless is mainly ran through PowerShell and command. So rather than trying to get using like RAM dumps and stuff, I would use something like event logs and understanding like PowerShell behavior through prefetch. That's going to be more worth your while. Selling, bro, where y'all say? On DFR, give me roll then. Wait, do you have the course? I'm gonna go through the course roles in a second, guys. What about Old Lotus Plus? Old Lotus Plus has been discontinued. You guys should have been taught everything by Monsieur. That's what I was told. So, yeah, that's just what I was told by Constantine. Y'all have been taught everything, and that's the terms you agreed to when you purchased. $3. Oh my God, pursue your PFP.
Dude, what are some of these questions? Good Lord.
So that was the same. Oh yeah, so if I change your Lotus Plus role to course, that just means it's the same thing. So I removed that lower level. What's the difference between Gitbook guide and PDF? The PDF is written by Constantine with the help of all of the HQ. The Gitbook is kind of ICE. So ICE is one of our and he made it on a website. That's really all. And I don't think it has as much content, but it's using like AI and stuff. I would use all the resources you can. How to detect a UEFI cheat by USB stick. If it's loaded by a USB stick, you could just see like if they're plugging and removing USB disks, I would ban for that. But
they don't usually
UEFI cheats are a whole topic I have to get into. Maybe
it's like a whole. That's like a whole separate.
I know tech knows a lot about that. Can I move Lotus? What do you mean move Lotus Plus to Academy? Is there a way to catch two PC bypasses? Yes. Utilizing the Minecraft chat logs, you can do that. If they're using a proxy cheat like Faker, the System Informer Network tab will tell you if there is a proxy that is connected, and you can see. How do I catch Rivals hackers? I don't know anything about Rivals, but Red Lotus teaches all the methods you need to catch any cheat in any game.
Do it normally.
I don't know any Rivals. I didn't even know Rivals assessed, but yeah.
People screen share and Marvel Rival. Are you for real?
Don't overwrite events bannable. I need more.
Or Roblox Rivals. Dude, if you're in Roblox, bro.
No, Detect AC, their developer is pretty talented. I don't know much about their flags, but I know their developer, one of their developers is pretty talented, and he's part of Red Lotus team. We don't have beef with the team. I make that clear. It's just based online shit. Like we're chilling. What's different between 5 and Minecraft? I said this analogy earlier. 5M, finding the cheat is harder and proving it is easier. Minecraft, finding the cheat is easier and proving it is harder. How do you check for code that self-destructs? If I assume you're talking about code injection, normally code injection is done through an IDE. I just demonstrated that. And also, there are certain files that leave behind logs, but that's in our course material, so I'm not going to cover that. Whoa. I have a question. Wasn't here before. How do you find I suggest you read our guides or wait for the recording. This was just like a beginner tutorial. Like,
all right. The next guy to say how do I spell run DLL 32 is getting banned.
Course and stuff. I print like we send you a video about. Yeah, if you buy the personal coaching or if you buy the course or whatever, you can send me videos. And I don't sit there and watch them, but I'll click through them a little bit and I'll speed them up and I'll see what you do and I'll guide you in like what could happen. It's about how to detect DMA cheats. DMA cheats are fucking AIDS. Most servers I know what they do because I'm not in the specialty DMA cheats. They just make them send a picture of their. It's the easiest way. Is personal coaching like a review of SS?
That doesn't
Personal
work very
coaching
well.
is you can DM me, ask me questions. You get full access to the server, and you will all you have the freedom to schedule one-on-one calls with me. So basically, like a webinar, but only for you based off of your needs. If PayPal is not supported in my country, how can I make a purchase? We accept crypto, Zelle, Cash App. Yeah. How do I delete my system 32? You can Google that. Can I use DN Spy in a PC check? Yes, you can use DN Spy. Reverse engineering for malware analysis is a useful skill. It's called dynamic analysis and screen sharing. You can do personally. I just upload it to like filescan.io or VirusTotal, but you can do that if you want. Bro, there's so many people asking questions. If I miss your question, it's not personal. What do you know about fileless malware? We have whole webinars on fileless malware. Like, you can find them in announcements. It's its own topic. Maybe I'll do it. Fileless is really not that complicated though. You can find the webinar somewhere. Benny's like, call around SSL. It was a forge mod that schedules a command that runs a PowerShell files versus that. It used encrypting lots of shit. Okay, what is the question? Yeah. Well, yeah. Sometimes kids do be ratted, and that's where it's important to use comments. You know, if something, you will be able to tell if something behaves like a cheat or a malware. It's very easy. Can you give Jav one-on-one coaching? Yeah, Jav can schedule that. I'm not a babysitter. You guys are responsible for scheduling your own shit. So, yeah. What are some cheat keywords to put into prefetch? I just went over that. You can see it in the recording, but you analyze the con host, consent, run DLL, and reg server 32 files in the when prefetch. That's right. I get angry. How can I detect process following? I'll talk to you about that later. Last thing you need to worry about, you're getting bypassed by OP auto clicker, so we got bigger fish to fry.
Junction deleted.
All right. Is there any more questions, comments, concerns, or I'm just gonna stage. If you guys want to come up on stage and ask a question with your voice, you can raise your hands.
Please don't. Please don't.
I'm gonna
Please
end the
don't.
screen share though. Okay.
Oh god, bro.
Hello.
Why'd you invite this guy up?
I just realized I can't hear. Hold on.
Yo, wait, so how do I detect
I
a
don't know why I
malicious
can't hear.
JNA file that could potentially be a cheat?
What are you
And
talking? What?
A JNA file? No, JNA. You know, like when you launch Minecraft and like a JNA and then a bunch of random letters or numbers?
Hold on, guys. I don't know what my headphones.
Can you hear me, bro?
No, you know, like JNative or JNA.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I think that somebody's injected via JNA and it's a cheat, how would I prove it? Like, for instance, since JNAs don't log on Modrons, and I assessed the other day, I found a JNA file on a Modrons log, but they don't log there. And I couldn't prove it was malicious, but it was definitely a cheat.
Okay, yeah.
If they
I
had a
can't
cheat
hear.
UI.
I think my headphones are. Oh wait, no.
So
Sorry.
how would I detect that that's a cheat?
Okay, ask your question. I just fixed my audio.
Denise, so you know a JNA file, right? Or not, sorry, you know a JNA? Denise,
Yes.
how do I detect?
It's very deep.
Yeah,
He's asking, how does he determine if a JNative file is malicious?
yeah.
It's literally in the guide, and I literally went over it. But it's in the temp file. You type JNA, JNative hook, and JNA are not the same thing. JNA will have like a dash and like random numbers, but it just
Yeah.
Yeah.
JNA doesn't log on Modron. The thing I DM'd you, there's a JNA log, and I was told that was definitely a cheat. I don't know how to
Anything
prove
about
it.
I don't know anything about Modrinth, but I know that like Lunar, Badline, Feather, and like normal clients don't have a JNA. JNA is like a modified like Minecraft launcher.
Yeah. Yeah, but there was a log of a JNA, so how do I prove that's like malicious?
I don't know. Show me.
So